Hello, my fellow trucketeers. How the devil is everyone? Hi. Today's Friday. I finished work. I've had a shave. I've cut my neck to pieces. I'm in my bedclothes because why not? Yeah, it's the old truck. Bit of housekeeping actually. We'll do some housekeeping first before we get into the debrief. So yeah, almost done with the logo. You wanna have a sneak peek? Let's get on it. So I'll show you where it was. So I started off with AI generation. Just got to find the picture first, sorry. I should have probably done that before I started. This is me, all prepared all the time. So, last time you saw it, it was... Oh, it's not going to show up now, is it? Oh, you see that? It was about there. So, that's where AI got it. It wouldn't let me do anything else to it, really. So, everything else I've had to do myself. Now, for me, I'm not a very artistic person. I'm not very good at drawing and everything. So everything else I've had to do myself. So it's very much out of my comfort zone. But shall I show you? Oh, I don't know. We're getting there. So this is what the truck looks like at the moment on the it's going to look like on the logo, roughly. Come on. It's because the phone's really bright. So all the extra bits I've added in myself there. It's been long, arduous and painstaking, but we're getting there. Obviously I've got to do the bit around the outside. I've still got to do the stripes on the front of the truck. I don't know how I'm going to do that because they're weird curves. So that's going to take a little while, but we're getting there. Also, another bit of housekeeping. Depending on how tomorrow goes, there may be another MX-5 video coming up soon. Could be an interesting one. So keep your eyes out for that. Anyway, let's get on with the debrief, shall we? So, we are doing obviously from Monday the 2nd of June to Friday the 6th of June. Ain't been too bad a week actually. So, we started Monday, 6 AM. We run solo from the yard to Frouds, which is the potato people in... They're in Wimborne, but it's closer to Verwood if you ask me, so I always say Verwood. So I dropped the trailer off there last week when I finished and took back a trailer with trailers on. Anyway, I went back there to collect the trailer I dropped off on Friday and unloaded the rest of the spuds that were on there because they weren't quite finished unloading it. Then once they were all off, I ran to Wareham to load 3 drops at Westminster Wire. Once they were all on, I headed to Swindon to get the first 9 pallets off. Then after they were off, went on to Tame to get the next 3 off. And then from there off to Kettering to get the next 8 pallets off, or the last 8 pallets off. So yeah, we had a bit of a run that day, but we got it all done. Only just made the last one as well. The matey sort of said they're normally done by 4:30, but he was waiting for someone else to turn up to collect another pallet, which is who he thought I was. But because he was there, he just took the 8 pallets off of me anyway, because I got there at like 4:40. So just about squeezed in that one. So they were off. Then we run to Ely to collect more potatoes. Yeah. Once they were on, I stayed parked up on the farm for the night because there was no point really going any further. Yeah. So we finished at 7:45 that night after we got the spuds on. I drove for 9 hours 7 minutes, worked 13 hours 45 minutes, and drove a total of 358 miles. Tuesday. Started at 4:45 AM. We run from the farm in Littleport, Ely, to Frouds in Verwood to unload the spuds. Yes. Once they were off, run to Yeovil to collect some steel work for Potto, which is near Northallerton. Once we got loaded of that, we ran as far north as we could, which ended up being Redditch. Parked up for the night, 5:15 PM. We were at 12 and a half hours. We drove 9 hours and 11 minutes, so by Tuesday I'd used both my 10s, annoyingly, by not much time. And we done 385 miles. So we ran out of 10s by Tuesday. But it's alright. Wednesday we started at 4:15 AM, run from Redditch all the way up to Potto. We actually went to Preston's, the Potto yard, so that's another haulage company. So I assume it's solar stuff for their yard. So we delivered steel work. Once that was off, I then drove to South Shields, which is the first time I've ever been to South Shields. Not bad a place, people there were quite nice. So we went there to collect fertiliser, which was for Amesbury. So once that was loaded, we run south as far as we could and ended up back in Tamworth. Almost could have got back to Redditch, but traffic started building up in the M42, so I knocked it on the head. So we finished at 4:15 p.m, so we worked 12 hours on the button. We drove 8 hours 47 minutes, and we drove 409 miles. So yeah, like I said, if it went with the traffic, I could have made Redditch. Got a little bit further, but it didn't really make much difference. So Thursday we started at 5 a.m. We run from Tamworth down to Amesbury to unload the fertiliser. Then from there we run to Herne to collect compost. So first load went to Fair Oak, back to Herne, collect another load. That second load went off to Landford, which is on the A36 between Romsey and Salisbury, technically. Once that was off, we then run back to Herne to collect the third load, which was for Launceston for Friday. So once we got that on, we went out to Ringwood, parked up, 6:30 p.m, drove 8 hours 34 minutes, worked 13 hours 30 minutes, and drove 327 miles. Now yesterday I could have potentially got back to the yard, but because it took me 35 minutes to get from the carriageway that runs down to Bournemouth into Herne, because of the traffic, that just ate all my driving time up, because technically I should have had an hour and 15 minutes left, which would give me just enough time to get back to the yard. But because of the traffic, I had not long left. I had 50 minutes, which wouldn't have been enough, so I just went to Ringwood and parked up. And then Friday, started at 5:30 in the morning, run from Ringwood to Launceston to unload compost. And then from there we run to North Taunton, which is Tawton, not Taunton, to Gregory's yard to collect out of Crediton Dairy, which is in their yard. Once that was on, run all the way back to Bridport, dropped the trailer off at Gore Cross. There was another trailer that was not parked in the best place, so I shunted that over as well, put that somewhere out the way so the next two lads that were in there had room to put their trailers in. And then back to the yard, wash the truck, and finished at 5 p.m. Lovely. Worked a total of 11.5 hours for 239 miles, and we drove for 6 hours and 10 minutes. And that's our week. So our weekly fuel was 951.6 litres we put into the truck. I've pretty much finished the week on, I've got a quarter of a tank left in my truck, so I've got to fill up Monday morning. But yeah, late start Monday as well, but you'll hear about that next week. 63 hours and 15 minutes total for the week, and we done a total of 1,718 miles. It'll be interesting at the end of the year to find out how many miles I've done throughout the entire year. It's gonna be quite a lot, I think. Yeah. So yeah, that was our week. Lovely stuff. It was quite a interesting one. I didn't film at all this week because in my video I filmed last, which you won't see for a few weeks yet. I do a little disclaimer at the start of the video, you'll see it. But when I was editing, I realised the camera behind me on my shoulder, that's the one I normally record the audio with because it's got a media mod in it that I plug my lapel mic into. So either the lapel mic's broken or the media mod's broken. Now the latch on the media mod's been broken for a little while, so I've had a cable tie around it. But it didn't record the audio. Now I fettled around with it and I did get it to work, but I can't have that sort of unsureness of whether it's actually recording audio or not. So I've ordered myself a new media mod, so hopefully I'll be able to film next week and carry on. But it doesn't matter, you're not exactly going to miss any videos. There's still going to be videos out, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, things we have to do these videos for you. So I hope you bloody appreciate it. Right, let's get on to viewers' questions. So if you would like to ask me a question and you want me to answer it, leave it in the comments below and I'll answer it for you next week. It's effectively your way of getting a shout out on the channel, because I don't do shout outs in my regular video because I don't like to. Because when one person asks for a shout out, then everybody wants a shout out. And then you just fall down the rabbit hole of having 1,000 million people asking for shout outs, and then the same person wants it every week. So, yeah. It will drive me nuts trying to keep on top of it. So, this is my way of giving you a shout out. Right, question number 1 is from Heather, and she asks, if you weren't a truck driver, what line of work would you do and why? I've had this question a few times, like just in comments in general, like on Facebook and whatever. I think I would do something with heavy machinery, or I'd still do something with driving, or go back to van driving, or maybe do like car collections or something with a trailer or something like that. But I'd like to drive something big still. So another thing would have been like a train driver would have been something I would like to have pursued. That's obviously bearing in mind I can still drive. If I wasn't able to drive at all, then I'd probably do something in IT. I'm clever enough to do stuff with IT. I choose to be a truck driver because I enjoy it. So yeah, I could do an IT job and earn probably twice the amount of money that I'm on now for half the hours. But I don't want to do it because, well, I'll be bored. And sometimes you got to do what you enjoy rather than what's going to, well, make you rich, I suppose. No, I don't know if I could be that good at IT, but I'd definitely be able to do a job with IT that would earn good money, but I wouldn't be happy. Right, so hopefully that answers that. Question number 2 is from Eddie's Trucking Adventures. He says, with the end of the day, if you park in an industrial estate in a town, would you try and go watch something at a cinema or even a meal out? I got no interest in the cinema. I mean, I could do, yeah, very much so. Could go to the gym if there's one nearby. I almost went to the one in Tamworth. I really need to get some gym gear and actually start doing that. Work out again. Get rid of my belly. I have been for meals out when I've been out on the road. I've gone into pubs and had food and whatever. So yeah, as soon as you're parked up for night, you can go do what you want. As long as you can get back to your truck and get to sleep, that's all that matters. So yeah, I could do it. I have done it. Cinema, probably not so much, just because it's a waste of money. When I can watch stuff on Netflix on my phone. Question number 3 from Christine Gibbs. You said, a question watching the trucks leave the showground. Puffing out, rolling coal. How does that happen? So obviously when you see the trucks drive out of a show, when they're blowing all the black smoke out, usually, I'll have to try to have a think about this now. Older trucks obviously didn't have any emissions kit on them, so they didn't have DPFs or AdBlue or anything, so all that is just all the soot and carbon build up all in the truck. Obviously the EGR valve recirculates a lot of stuff and it just clogs up the system. So when the engine labours, it pushes out a lot of black smoke. So that's generally what happens. Now with newer trucks, with DPFs and then the added AdBlue as well, that's all there to stop the soot coming out. So the DPF is a diesel particulate filter which captures all that, and then what the AdBlue does is it captures all of the soot, it breaks it down and then lets it go out as, I think it's water vapour it goes out as or something, so it's a lot cleaner when it comes out. Like the old trucks, like if you rub your finger on the inside of the exhaust, your hand will be black. Now they're clean as anything, so yeah. So if you got a truck, I think DPFs have been, if your vehicle's after 2009, your vehicle had to be fitted with a DPF if it is a diesel vehicle. So anything before 2009 probably hasn't got one, but might have still been retrofitted with one. Anything after 2009 has to legally be fitted with a DPF. So anything that blows out black smoke that is newer than 2009 is bypassing the DPF and AdBlue system and blowing it out through a diverter pipe somewhere. So yeah, although it's cool, it is illegal. So be careful blowing out the black smoke when you're driving around, guys, because if you do get caught on video doing it on the public road, you can get done for it. I think Trucker Girl 850, she's had to put a lock on, because she's got a diverter valve on her Scania. She's had to put a lock on that to drive around with that. If she gets caught with that lock off on the road, she will get heavily fined. And yeah, So yeah, be careful blowing black smoke out. So that's pretty much how it happens. It's a divert pipe that bypasses all the emission stuff. That's a bit long-winded, wasn't it? Right, question number 4 from Mandy Oakley Theobald. Have you always wanted to be a trucker? I don't know. Maybe. My dad was a trucker for most of the time, but I don't know. It was. I never really know what I wanted to do when I left school. I pretty much just fell into everything I'd done. So I was a postman when I left school. Fell into that because my mum was a postie, so my parents were having a laugh because I didn't know what to do after school. My dad said, "Why did you join the post office?" Your mum was like, "All right," so I did. And then from there, I've sort of got me license, car license and that, and then started driving. And I thought, why don't I go get a van? Or one of my mates done a van driving job. It's like, oh, this job's amazing. So I got into van driving at that point, and I bloody loved it. And done van driving for 12 years for different companies, and natural progression was to get me license. So kind of fell into it, but it something I kind of did want to sort of get into. Once I started driving vans, and I thought, this is alright, I could probably drive something bigger. And then it was just went on from there, I suppose. So, yes and no, kind of. Question number 5 from Matt DVC. What was the most challenging situation you found yourself in as an Arctic driver? Now, this one's a nice easy one to answer because I've actually got a video on it. I'll actually leave the link in the description below if I remember. It's one where I went to a real tight site in London, and then when I came out, I could only come out on my good side because I couldn't swing the other way on the blind side because there was too much stuff in the way, and I would have had to have reversed around a wall between two cars, which just would not have happened. So I had to go out my good side, which meant I then had to go through a whole load of back streets between cars, try and get around corners. It was an absolute nightmare to get out. All the footage was on my dash cam, so I've actually got a video of that, so I will leave it in the description below so you can watch what is my most challenging situation I've been in. Yeah, plus I was getting long driving time, which didn't help as well. So yeah, hopefully that answers that one. And question number 6 is from Michael Flubb. He says, I have a question, which is, when you strap a load but don't deliver it, so in others when I trailer swap with someone, how do you replace your straps ready for your next load? Very simple. We don't keep our straps on our truck, we keep our straps of our trailers. So all of our trailers have their own set of straps. So if we strap up a load on a trailer and then we swap that to someone else, those straps stay with that trailer when it goes off, so they'll wrap the straps up and leave them on that trailer. Simple as that, really. A lot of companies the drivers will have their own straps in their side lockers on their truck. But the problem is with that is if you do have to trailer swap with someone, you then have to unstrap it to get all your straps back, and then someone else has to restrap it with their straps, and it's a pain in the ass. So yeah, we keep all our straps of our trailers, simple as that. We do have our own straps in our lockers as well for times when we do need additional straps, and then if we do run out, we'll just pick some more up on a Friday when we get back to the yard. I've got 17 spare straps in my side lockers, which are all 12 metre straps, which is what I use for doing straw. Because you need long straps to do that. So yeah, hopefully that answers that for you. That's the questions. Again, ask a question and I'll answer it to the best of my abilities next week. I suppose we're going to car of the week. Good one this week. Proper little Jack Rocket. So, and I was doing a delivery to, which one was it? I can't remember. It was one of the metal frame things I'd done to Tame. That's it. I went to Tame when I was delivering in there. When I was walking around the trailer doing the curtains near the entrance of where they are, little Toyota AE86 pulled in. Oh, it's glorious. Lovely little things. I heard it before I saw it, but yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll put up a different picture of one as well so you can get a full picture of it. But yeah, Haishiroku is what they call them. Fantastic little cars. Little race machines they are. They rev to high heaven as well. So yeah, that was definitely my car of the week. Don't see many of them around here at all, so it was nice to see one. Right, Mayhem on the Road. Mayhem on the Road was actually yesterday? Or was it this morning? No, it was this morning. So as I was going from Ringwood towards Exeter, obviously on the A35, I was going up the hill towards Chiddock, actually, towards our yard. And as you go around the corner, as you're approaching the top of the hill before you go over the crest of the hill around a blind corner, it's double white lines. So this car decides, I'm going to overtake this big long truck on the double white lines right before the blind corner. What an absolute wally. There's a reason there's double white lines. There are certain situations where you are allowed to overtake in double white lines, and I believe that's if, obviously, it's a broken down vehicle, or someone stopped, this, that and the other, or if what you are passing is a vehicle that's doing less than 10 mile an hour, so like a cycle or mobility scooter or something like that, you're allowed to then pass them as long as it is safe to do so. But you don't overtake a truck up a hill coming up to a blind corner over double whites. There's a reason they're there. It's simple. More paint, more danger. That's how the saying goes. There's the police when you need them, eh? Alright, that's that bit, and we'll get on to the very last segment, so video's getting on a bit, because I'm yabbering. We'll get on the last section, which is from Tommy Jordan, which is favourite comment of the week. And this is on my DVSA video, so yeah, that's still doing pretty well at the moment. So Tommy Jordan has messaged on it. He said, just seen this video. Big thanks. You UK truck drivers don't get the recognition you deserve. You address all road laws unlike the rest of the world, and you get shafted by your own government, which makes me sick. God bless you and your family. Yeah, good point. I mean, the country can't go without us. Nothing will be delivered. That's fine. But it's the only job where you get penalised for working too hard. You know, you have to be very, very careful to keep a clean record. It's stressful sometimes, you know, and if you do get pulled over by DVSA, there's a massive chance that they could find something in the vehicle and then fine you for it. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not a mechanic. I know what I'm looking out for like tyres and stuff like that. But when they start going underneath the vehicle and checking like bolts on like U-bolts that hold the leaf springs on, there's not something you regularly check other than when the truck goes in for inspection. So they could find something like that and I could get done for it. Or if I pull in with a load that's been strapped up and they think, well, I don't think that's strapped up adequately, and then they start, you know, I could get fined for that. So it's the only job you could get fined for working too hard and maybe not doing something quite proper, you know, quite right. So yeah, it is quite a risk in the job to, you know, keep clean and everything, but it is what it is. Right, that's that. One more thing, actually. Last week someone said about my dad, has he always been a truck driver and this, that and the other, and did he do other jobs? So obviously I got speaking to my dad about the trucks he drove, because he said he learnt in the Bedford TK. He said he's not sure if he actually drove a ERF E-Series. He said he can't quite remember. He said he didn't think so at the time, and then he sort of double questioned himself. Anyway, we got talking about trucks and other jobs. One of the jobs he did work for was Locomotives in Andover. I think they were like a truck body fitter place anyway. Anyway, one job he was doing was on this riot control vehicle called Talon. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but if you have, you may have heard from it from a small programme on the BBC called Top Gear, where Richard Hammond proceeded to drive this riot control vehicle through a building. Anyway, it turns out that is the very one that my dad was working with. So where my dad worked at Locomotives in Andover, that's where they made the prototype Talon, which was the actual one that was on Top Gear. Now, I remember this vehicle very fondly because on the brochure for the vehicle that they gave to everyone when they was obviously trying to sell the vehicle and whatever, there's the picture of the Talon, and then there's a guy dressed up, all suited and booted and in riot control gear. That's actually my dad. So if anyone sort of that was looking for the Talon, I'll have to see if I can find it. It might actually be in my filing cabinet down here. 2 seconds. No. Turns out I don't have it. Oh well, here's what it is. Dad's probably still got it at his house, or it's in one of my storage boxes in their loft or something, so I'll have to dig it out. But yeah, it also turns out that this same Talon that Richard Hammond drove was the one my dad drove. When I was about 6 or 7, I think it was, my dad, well, when I went to Portway School in Andover as a youngster, my dad actually drove that to there for one of their school fetes they had, and it was left-hand drive, and as we were driving it through the gateway into the school for obviously everyone to have a look around and whatever, the caretaker was watching my dad in, but obviously didn't know trucks that well. So as my dad swung in, it actually hit the concrete post he came in, and it absolutely obliterated this concrete post like it was nothing. And from what I remember, it didn't even leave a scratch on it. It was remarkable. I don't remember a lot about it because I was very young, but yeah, so that was something pretty cool anyway. So my dad drove the Talon that Richard Hammond drove through a cabinet many, many years later. Bearing in mind we're going back to like, what, 91, 1990, 91 I think. Maybe even 89, I can't remember. So a long, long time ago. Anyway, check out Monday's video. I can't remember what one it is. It's good, watch it. I put time in it, so please watch it. Yeah. Watch out for the MX-5 video. I'll see you next week. I'm tired. Night night.